Yo, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we are doing something that is by far the biggest milestone in my career up to this point. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, this channel and all of you subscribers, it has turned a year old. 1 year ago today, I decided that at like 5:30 in the morning, I'm gonna make a YouTube video. So I make the YouTube video, and we're here now. It's one of those things that's so surreal, and I'm just forever blessed and grateful for everything that has came with it and everything that's continuing to go with it in the future. So first off, thank you guys. I owe just everyone a thank you for subscribing and giving me the power to keep going. If we're going into specifics, a big thank you to my thumbnail artist Lotus, who has helped me outside of this channel. And not only does he make great thumbnails, but he's just a great person and a great friend who I genuinely have a just a ton of love and appreciation for. So shout out to you, Lotus, and thanks for the thumbnail. You cooked with this one, man. And the other person I did want to shout out was my good friend Zen, who has been on this channel before. Now, you guys know Zen, and a lot of you guys are subscribed to his channel as he has been blowing up as of late, and I could not be prouder. Zen, you're watching this video, you have earned everything, man. I cannot express how proud I am for you, and just to see your growth has been phenomenal, and you have earned every minute of it, and I appreciate some of the advice you've given me, and I think of you and Lotus as brothers for life, and I hope to see that in the next couple of years where our journey goes as YouTubers and as people as a whole. But you guys saw the title. This is a Q&A for your boy, and it's insane we're doing this. I'm excited, and you guys left me a lot of interesting questions, so I'll try to answer everything to the fullest extent that I can, and tell you guys a bit about me so you guys can be a little more familiar with me, because I feel like the biggest issue is that I'm a little shallow in some of my own videos. I guess I show the personality time to time, but you guys really don't know a lot about me unless you're in my Discord server or you're stalking me or something. Please don't. But anyway, let's go ahead and just get right into this, man. I've been talking about it for almost 3 minutes now, so with that being said, let's just do it, man. Let's get into this. Our first question reads, have you ever seen this Venture Camp from the channel Odd Nation Cartoons? Now, I will go ahead and say I am very aware of what this Venture Camp is, as many of my friends have seen it, and they've told me pretty good things about it. Now, I myself have yet to check it out, but I've been thinking about it, and maybe down the line I'll check it out, as it can open ways for more content and better variety, so I'm not just talking about total drama. Instead, I'd be talking about total drama, but not total drama. Jokes aside, though, this is a good question. I honestly do want to check it out one day. It just comes down to when I get the time to, and if I just really want to watch it. Because I haven't really watched a lot of media in a while, like willingly, because it's just hard to watch shows for me sometimes nowadays, because I feel like every time I make a video, I have to go back and watch everything for, research and whatnot. So, but personal stuff aside, this is a good question, and I appreciate you for asking me this. I will definitely consider checking it out down the line. Alright, now our next couple of questions come from a very good friend of mine, who I mentioned like 2 minutes ago, Zen. Now, you asked me a couple of questions, and I'll kind of go briefly through those. So, first question, who is my favorite wrestler? Now, currently it's Cody Rhodes, because he finished his story. It was a cool, overbooked WrestleMania 40, and it was just a fun time. But all time, probably The Undertaker, just because of the presence he brought to the ring. And he's just such a good character, and did such a good job at being intense and scary. And you could really the vibes were just there. Oh, and his entrance theme is just terrifying in a great way. Next question though, what is my favorite video that I've done? That's a very good one. I really liked the finales video. It got a lot of views, and I just really was happy with the product. Just being able to talk about the finales was something that I actually wanted to do, like when I started YouTube, but I did not expect the payout to be that good. Oh, and the thumbnail on it was phenomenal. Who was my favorite YouTuber? Honestly, if I had to say, my favorite YouTuber is probably myself. No, I'm kidding. Honestly, to pick a favorite YouTuber is pretty difficult, but guys like Summoning Saul and Dead Meat are some of my personal favorites. There's probably like 20 more I could name, but those are just some of the most well-respected ones that I'll name out of my list. So I'll just say those two because they make phenomenal content on very different things that I have yet to talk about on this channel that maybe I'll get around to one day. All right, now, what are some of my interests? I like this question because, well, I mean, why not? It's just what I'm into. So, outside of liking cartoons, I am a big wrestling guy, big football guy. Anytime basketball is on, I'll watch most of the games every year. So normally I'll watch like good 60 out of the 82 Hawks games, and then watch us get cooked in the play-in. And in football, I love watching my Saints go 9-8, which we will do this year. So, and outside of that, I like researching things. It just depends on what the topic is. But once I find myself immersed in something, I will just overly learn about it. So maybe that's why I'm a YouTuber. Okay, and the last question, why are you such a... Okay, Zen, I see what the intentions were here. You know what? Hey man, you know what? I'm just not gonna answer this one. All right, our next question asks, what is my favorite SpongeBob episode? This is a really good question. SpongeBob is obviously infamous and very iconic, and to just pick a favorite episode, there's just so many, but I'll give you a couple of answers. First off, any Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy episode from the early seasons is absolutely hilarious. They are by far some of the most underrated characters in the show's history, and they make for some of the funniest humor I've ever seen. When I was in the hospital last April, I watched a lot of SpongeBob, and I was just so intrigued by the episodes that they aired. And to see a bit of the taste from the new episodes and I guess the old ones, to see how different the show is now is just so weird. But a lot of my favorite episodes just range from the earlier seasons, and I guess if I had to choose the popular favorite that everybody else likes, probably Rip Pants or Band Geeks. Both have good messages. Well, I guess one has a good message, and the other one is just phenomenal, and we almost got sweet victory at the Super Bowl, which, if the Saints would have been in that game, then we probably would have. But hey, what do I know? Great question, though. Alright, now the next question asks, what is my favorite show besides Total Drama? Now, if you're not really familiar with a lot of my videos, that's probably why you asked this question, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I ranked my favorite shows last spring. It was the last video I made before I made my return, and number one on that list was Hey Arnold. And obviously my answer is not going to change for probably my whole lifetime. Hey Arnold is a show that means so much more to me than just an average person. The show is just so special in its dynamics and storytelling and the morals that it can send, and it helps that I watched it at an age similar to Arnold and everyone else in the show. So my favorite show outside of Total Drama is definitively Hey Arnold because of just how special it is to me and just how important it was for me and what I learned from it at a young age. And I still use this show as a good reflection, even now that I am a high schooler who is just living his best days. So thank you for the great question. Alright, now our next question comes from my thumbnail artist, who asked me why did I make the weird thumbnail. Okay, first off, I don't know. I don't want to talk about it. That's all. Alright, now our next question comes from Caden, who has been with this channel since like the beginning. So shout out to you, man. I appreciate all the love you've given me, and I still vote on your polls like every day. So keep up the great work, and y'all go vote on his polls too, because his storytelling through his videos and his polls are awesome. But his question is, do you watch Survivor? If so, who and what seasons are your favorite? Now, unfortunately, I've actually never seen Survivor. Now, given that Total Drama is a spoof of Survivor and just reality television as a whole, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, but I just never really watched it. So I'm sorry to say that I can't give you an answer here, Caden, but I probably want to check it out down the line. You know, it's just another case of maybe, maybe not. But thanks for the question, man, and keep up the great work you're doing. What is my favorite Nickelodeon sitcom? And to answer that, I'd probably say iCarly or Victorious, both of which are hilarious in their own ways. I think it comes down to which cast you prefer, but this is a really good question, as honestly, both the shows are really close for me, and I think that the humor runs a little better in Victorious, but iCarly is way more iconic in my book, so it's personal preference for me, but it's just between those two, so I'd say it's a 50-50. Great question, though. Alright, now the next question asks, how do I become a level 100? Why? Oh my god, dude. I'm not answering this question. Great question, but you're not getting an answer on this one. Jesus. Alright, the next question is actually something normal. What inspired me to become a YouTuber? First off, this is an amazing question, so thank you. And second off, honestly, there were a lot of things that inspired me to start YouTube. Now, I remember it vividly as I had just gotten a new iPhone, and I just was like, you know, what if I just tried something? So I got in my bedroom that night and I recorded a whole video, I edited it together and whatnot, and I was just like, you know what, let's see where this goes. And to be honest, the inspiration was kind of just on the spot. Now, I've been watching YouTube my entire life, and I've been inspired by so many creators, and, you know, I grew up watching so many people, and to see myself on this platform with similar success to some of those people, not like obviously the big name ones, but I grew up watching a lot of underrated people who didn't really get a lot of fame. So to see me in a similar position to them is just crazy to think about. But I guess if I'm being honest, I've always just had a passion for it. I've always wanted to get myself in the social media scene in some way, but I realized that TikTok and Instagram just weren't really for me. So why not YouTube? And you know, you guys know the rest. So thank you for the great question. Alright, the next question asks, in all of Total Drama, whose elimination do you think is the most unfair? Okay, now honestly, the obvious answer is Lashana, but I also really hated Noah's elimination because I made a video about it recently, and it's just frustrating because Noah's one of the best characters in the season, and he gets eliminated like that. Come on. It's just stupid. But honestly, there's a lot of bad eliminations in Total Drama. Damien's elimination in the second season of the reboot was bad, and I guess it's just a running trend to just kick people out in stupid ways. But thank you for the great question. Alright, now the next question asks, when is the next TDA episode? And honestly, this is something I've been trying to hold off for a while because I wasn't really sure what direction I wanted the TDA to go in, because I was fine with making the videos, but they didn't perform very well, and honestly, as simple as they were to make, they just didn't feel like my type of content style. So unless I can get a bunch of support for people to want to bring the series back, then I'm probably going to leave it at rest. Although the next character is Noah, so I would consider it down the line. But the only reason that it just hasn't happened is just due to lacking of views, and honestly just me not being satisfied at the product. But I do appreciate the question, and I'm glad I'm able to clear things up. Alright, now the next question comes from a very good friend of mine, who I may or may not have asked him to comment a Q&A question for the video, but it doesn't matter. Alright, now his questions are, what are my top 5 favorite video games of all time? Okay, I'm gonna name just 3 because time, just length of the video, gotta shorten it. But some of my personal favorite games of all time, Animal Crossing for the 3DS was elite. Fortnite in its prime was elite, and one of my personal favorite games of all time is Friday the 13th, the game. Even though it is shutting down this year, I'm really gonna miss that game, and I'm probably gonna make a video on it before it shuts down. So thank you for that question. And the other one, top 5 tastiest deodorants. That's a really good question. You know, it depends on what you want in a deodorant, because you know, if you want to go towards the Axe side of deodorant, well, you're not gonna smell very good. But it does taste pretty solid. Old Spice is definitively the best tasting one though, and I think there's a couple of other really good options, but in terms of taste, Old Spice is going to get you the furthest, but I think there's just a lot of them are really good. So thanks for the question, Ima. Alright, now the next question comes from a very good friend of mine's, Cars movies ranked. Now, that's not correct grammar, but it's whatever. Personally, at number 3, I have to go with Cars 3. I'm sorry, but it's just so it's not the worst thing. I mean, it's the worst in the franchise, but if we're just going off purely the movies, it just doesn't hit like 1 and 2. At number 2, I have number 2. I think it's a very different premise, but it works incredibly well. And number 1, Life is a Highway, baby. Okay, let me not get a copyright claim, but thank you for the question, Lil CG. And I'll see you on COD tonight. Alright, now we do have 3 questions that I'll answer one at a time. Now, the first one states, if I could change both finalists in any season, if there was any, would I change them? Probably I'd say this for Action, as much as I love Duncan's reign, I still feel like Harold could have been a better winner, and honestly, no one really likes Beth as a winner to begin with, so replacing Beth with Courtney or even Duncan himself, I wouldn't have minded at all. But I don't mind Beth being a winner as much as everyone else, so personally, I guess I'd just say Action, but really none of them. I think a lot of the finales work really well, and I think that's one of the best parts about the entire show. Alright, and the next question asks, who is the best and worst TD champion? Now, personally, I would say Owen is the definitive best TD champion. I mean, the dude was a powerhouse, and he was just iconic. I guess if I had to say worst winner, I guess I would say Mal. As much as I don't like Beth as a winner, at least she brought something to the table, unlike Mal, who was just really annoying. And Mike and Zoe just felt so predictable that season, so it really just ruins the fun of All-Stars, as if there was any to begin with. Alright, and the final question asks, if I was in charge of a Total Drama season, what would I change, or what would I make my own, theme? Now, this is a really interesting question because I actually had a pretty interesting idea. Now, from research and just things that me and my friends have done over the years, we always came up with this kind of premise that we've done before for our little, Discord, Total Drama things and whatnot, and it's called a power player. So imagine if every person in the season is a solo competitor, and the winner of every challenge gets the power play, where they get to pick 2 people to go against each other in an elimination challenge. I feel like that it could get shallow after a while, but I still feel like that'd be such an interesting concept for at least a couple of episodes. And it really sucks that Total Drama never really did anything like that, but that's just my take. But thank you for the great questions. I had a great time answering these because they're very creative. Alright, now the next question comes from a very good friend of mine who wanted to leave a question for the Q&A. And shout out to you, Kirby, and you are a GOAT, man. But your question, you said, for the Q&A, what's the wildest story I gotta tell? Alright, I'm not gonna give you the most wild one, because I'd probably get taken off of YouTube. But I will tell a pretty, interesting one, that, the time I was a part of a crime. God, that sounds terrible. Okay, so here's a bit of context. So this was about 5 years ago when I was in elementary school, the end of elementary school, and every day I'd had to go to my brother's middle school so we could pick him up. But the issue was there's an hour time of releasing, so we always had to wait 45 minutes before they would get out. So me and other kids in the parking lot or car rental line, whatever, would play and do a bunch of dumb stuff. But on one particular day, I remember we were throwing rocks out by a trash can because we were bored and we did not have the cellular devices at the time, right? So we were just throwing rocks and we were just throwing them far and whatnot. And my friend picks up a rock, throws it, it absolutely shatters a window. I mean, you'd think Stone Cold Steve Austin just broke in. Okay, jokes aside, but that is exactly how it went down. Imagine just Stone Cold breaking into your house. That's what the sound effect was, and the car alarm started going off, so we started running. So we just ran off, and luckily it was the end of school that day, so we managed to make it back to our cars, and we have not spoken about this incident since. And to make matters worse, I haven't talked to him in 5 years, so if you ever see this video, I'm not going to say your name for disclosure reasons, and I hope your family never got sued. Anyway, Kirby, thank you for the great question, my brother. Alright, now the next question comes from a good friend of mine's, and they asked, would I compete on Total Drama Island? Honestly, if I had the chance to, and if we're strictly going off cartoon logic, because I'd be dead after the first challenge, like everyone else, if we were being realistic, then I probably would, because I mean, what's there to lose? If I win, I get $1 million bucks, and well, I guess 100,000. But either way, if I win, I win, and if I don't, then I'm still living my best days. I get fame, and then I get more YouTube videos to make. I mean, come on now. That's too easy. But that's a good question. I did like that. And honestly, it's kind of funny. Imagine you're watching the new season of Total Drama, and there I am. Ah, perfection. All right, now for our last question of the video, we have like 5, so I'll kind of clear through these. First off, what character do I think had the most wasted potential? By far, Eva. I mean, there's not really a lot else I need to say. Maybe Brick, if they would have expanded on him in All Stars, but he didn't come back. But I'll say Eva just because, I mean, Gen 1 contestant who only competed in the first season for 2 episodes. I mean, come on, man. I mean, that's just stupid, but whatever. Alright, now the next question basically asks which characters do you wish had less screen time, and if they had less screen time, who would absorb their screen time? It's a good question, and honestly, I feel like Eva deserved way more screen time than what she got. I mean, she had 1 whole episode, which was the big sleep, but if I'm being completely honest, the whole purpose of that episode was just to eliminate her, like most island eliminations, and they're just kind of stupid. Like, it's just so frustrating. I feel like in other seasons, I feel like Owen definitely got a lot of attention in the latter half of Island, and in later seasons I feel like we saw way too much of Courtney, but I don't mind Courtney in World Tour, unlike Action where she's just overfed and over-absorbed in every single episode, and it's just really frustrating. So I guess I'd say to replace her screen time, give it to someone, give Justin more screen time, man. Alright, as for our last couple of questions, best and least favorite couple, I'll go through these really quickly. Went and Glunkin are hands down the best and worst couple in the show's history, although Sky and Dave also really sucked. And some personal like headcanons that I have for ships. Honestly, Chef and Chris might just be a little, you know, okay, and I'll wrap things off with the final question of the video. Alright, now our last question states, what inspired me, what got me into cartoons to begin with? And honestly, I've been watching cartoons like my entire life, and to be honest, they're one of the few things that stick with me even through my later years as like finishing elementary school and getting through middle school. And now that I'm in the midst of high school, I still feel myself connecting to shows now more than ever, even though I don't really watch them as much as I used to, just due to time and having to make YouTube videos and whatnot. But shows have always been there for me, and I just have such a genuine appreciation for shows in general. And as for Total Drama, I got into it in 2018 when my brother introduced me to it, and I was just hooked right off the bat. It's just such an interesting premise, and obviously, you know, it's a spoof of reality television, and it just works so well. So that'll be the last question for this Q&A, but thank you for 5 banger questions. Alright, well, I guess that'll do it for this video. First of all, let me just get this off my chest. First off, just thank you to everyone who has helped me across my journey in the last year, to see the growth that we've made as a channel, and to see that we're only going up from here is just surreal. I could not do it without any of you guys. Every single one of you who has subscribed, commented, left a comment, every bit of it has meant everything to me. To have the opportunity to make videos and see people interested in my content is something that I just couldn't have never dreamed of it, man. And to see my passion, something that I've been wanting to do since I was younger, come true has just been truly surreal. And I'm just so blessed, and I'm grateful for the opportunities that I've been given. And, you know, thank you to my family who has supported me along the way, my friends who have supported me along the way, people like Zen and Lotus and whatnot who I've already mentioned, and to the viewers in the comment section. I'll probably shout out some longtime viewers in the comment section, just because you guys have just done so much for me, and I do apologize for not being the most consistent YouTuber. I've been hospitalized twice in the last year, and I don't mean to push that as a bargain of an excuse, but to just say that, you know, I'm not fully lazy. It's just sometimes stuff happens, and I have been dealing with issues my entire life, and to see that when I have finally just been given that support, when I get even more of a push just to see my comeback and just how I can, you know, recover and come back to making videos and whatnot. It's just amazing, and I couldn't have done it without any one of you guys. So this is just a thank you to everyone who has helped me over the last year, and the only thing really left to say is I'm ready for year 2, man. This is gonna be another time to continue to grow. This is gonna be, I guess it would be going into the second year. That's the whole goal. But we're past the first year, past the first 12 months, and I'm excited to see what the future holds. And I guess we'll have to see. So until next time, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy. Peace.